Well, let's get your thoughts on the development camp. Obviously wrapped up with the scrimmage here. How fun has this week been, and how important is it for kind of your development?
Yeah, I think it was perfect week for everyone. It was really fun to be here. A lot of good training, so I really enjoyed this time to be here. So it was perfect to be here again, and I can't wait to come in a couple months.
And I know you had the last 3 years playing in the pro league. What do you think you learned in your game playing in the Liga and really playing against the pro level talents and other teams?
Yeah, every year was different in Finland. Like the last one taught me what I thought was the consistencies during the games. Like between the games, like every game was more consistent than the previous year. So that was the big step. And of course, how I said last year also, the game is fast. So I think it's really good for the goalie to be there. And then if you come here, you are kind of used to play on the fast level, how is in NHL and AHL. So I think that prepares me a lot for the next years.
And I know you're going to Utica next year. We always talk about the ice size between Europe and North America, and obviously it affects the guys. But how does it affect a goaltender too when you're kind of working on your angles or where you're visualizing the puck? Like, what challenges will that have when you're adapting to the North American game?
Yeah, I think there is like a huge difference because somewhere in Finland there is like really wide the pitch. So yeah, of course it's different. I have to use to it, but this week didn't even like was that bad. I think for me that it felt like normal that like usually in Finland. So yeah, it probably can take like couple days, but I think not a big deal.
And what are you looking forward to next year in Utica? What are you trying to accomplish? Maybe some goals.
What can be the goals? I think to win Calder Cup probably, and yeah, I can't wait to be there because it will be totally new, something totally new for me. So I can wait for the fun, I can wait for the games, and I can wait to be there with the guys.
You look forward to North American living too a little bit, or change the pace there.
Yeah. Of course, it will be something totally different than in Europe, but I think I got used to it when I moved from Czech to Finland. So I think it wouldn't be that bad.
Was it a big adjustment when you went to Finland? I don't know how you are with the language or anything like that. Were there any barriers? Their English is very good.
Yeah, there is only the language barrier that Finnish and Czech is like really different language, but I think it didn't was that bad as I expected. So I think also it wouldn't be here.
First of all, let's get your thoughts on the camp. Obviously, wrapping up here. How fun has this week been? How important is it? And what have you taken away from it as far as your development goes?
It's always a lot of fun to be here, meeting some of the players I met before. It's always fun to catch up with those guys and meeting some new players. I mean, the level here is very good. So the skates and this scrimmage today, it's always super fun to be a part of.
And what's like being around all these guys that could be some future teammates for you and catching up on some?
Yeah, maybe future teammates. I mean, hopefully. Some of them are enemies during the season, and then you meet up here, and it's always a good atmosphere.
I'd say, I know you went Michigan State to Michigan Tech.
Yeah.
What was the reason for the transition?
So I started off at Michigan State. I had a pretty good first year. I didn't play as much my second year, so I decided to make a switch, and I got more ice time at Tech, and I had a good year there.
And what is it like when you're playing against, whether it's a Penn State or a Michigan, and now you're here and kind of working together side by side with some of these guys after some of these heated rivalries?
It's always fun. I mean, I played against Jimmy, who was here. He said he recognized my name, and we're like, oh yeah, we played against each other a couple years ago. I played against Ethan Edwards a couple times, Michigan against Michigan State. So that rivalry is always fun. But when we meet here, we're just good buddies with everyone.
And what do you think you improved most upon last year, and what are you looking to improve upon heading into next year?
Just keep getting stronger and better defensively, and working on like puck touches and stuff like that. I'm a big body, so gotta keep getting used to that, and with the long stick and getting used to touching pucks against the walls.
And remind me if I'm wrong, I could be, but you played forward most of your career and then kind of switched late to defense. How was that transition? Like, most people are defense their whole year, like their whole career, so I feel like you're still, I don't want to say new to learning it, but like still relatively compared to some.
I mean, I guess a little in some aspects of it, but I played forward until I was 16, so catching up, it's almost equal now. But yeah, I think I'm trying to use my forward instinct still, but focusing more on learning the defensive side, because they talk a lot about it here. As a defenseman, your number one priority is to keep the puck out of the net, and then if you have that offensive touch, it's always just a bonus.
Do you think that is an advantage because you're kind of knowing what the forward wants to do in a lot of ways, so counteracting that?
Yeah, sometimes definitely, because I think maybe it's gone away a little bit because it's been a while now, but it definitely knows. I know a little bit how forward might try to like shake you off in the corner and stuff, like what I would do if I was in that situation. But yeah, a little bit maybe.
Yeah, we got to start obviously with the shootout go in the celly. That was pretty top notch. How was that scrimmage out there today?
Yeah, it was fun. It was fast paced. I think we got a lot of touches with how many guys we had on both sides, but I think we fought through it, and it was a lot of fun in the end.
And what about this camp in general, and what do you take away from it? Obviously, kind of seeing some guys you've seen last year, catching up, meeting some new guys, the fun of enjoyment of it, too.
Yeah, it's always a blast coming out here. I think a lot of guys enjoy it. Meeting the new guys is probably the most fun. Meeting all the guys that you play against or in different leagues and just hearing what they have to say. I think you're always taking bits and pieces from other guys and coaching staff, so it's awesome.
And what do you think you took away from, whether it's development, just on ice, off ice, thing like that? What are you taking away from these camps?
I think the biggest thing you take away is where you stand a little bit, what you need to work on, what other guys are doing. Just always taking something and running with it and going back home and working on it, getting a ton of reps. So it's really good.
And what is your goals maybe for next year? Some areas of your game that you like to continue to improve upon? Obviously, you filled out pretty well over the last couple of years.
Yeah, size, I'm starting to fill into my frame a little bit, and then just using that size and being hard to play against, I think will be the biggest piece in me moving up, whether it be in the coast or the AHL or hopefully the NHL, just being tough to play against and being mean.
You had a pretty good plus-minus last year. What was the key to kind of your on-ice success?
I think just trusting the guys we had in that locker room. We had a great group of guys, and I was fortunate enough to get out there and have a really good senior defensive partner who kind of showed me the ropes a little bit and just learning every shift and having fun and playing for the guy next to you. So I got to give all the credit to those guys.
What is your plan next year? What are you looking at?
Going back to St. Thomas, we got a new building, so going to be some new pressures and new teams and new opponents, and it's going to be a big moment for our program and our university as a whole.
Just get your thoughts on the camp wrapping up here. What has this week been like? What's it like kind of meeting some of these guys for the first time? Some you've obviously known from years past and working on some of your game.
Yeah, I mean, coming into this camp is awesome. I enjoy it, the guys I see like three times a year just from playing against them. It's finally good to, sit down with them and enjoy their presence and stuff, and then meeting all these new guys. I mean, they're all so good and all really good people, and they do a really good job at recruiting and scouting and drafting guys that are just good people. So to be able to come to this camp and just, get better with these guys and get to know these guys is unbelievable.
And what is your big takeaway from this camp? You learning things on the ice, obviously, off the ice? Like, what are some of the things you try to take away when you go into, next season?
Yeah, I mean, whatever they kind of have, every year it seems like they have an emphasis on certain things for certain positions, and this year is kind of a competitiveness and good detailing and good defensive positioning. So, just taking that and be able to, get off the wall and be in position or, jump up and be in position, whatever it is. That's what I'm going to take away this year.
And you went from BC to Quinnipiac. What was the reason for the transfer?
Just hockey. I mean, I love both schools. Just school-wise, no hockey apart. I mean, no animosity towards anyone there, but just the work at Quinnipiac is unbelievable. I mean, they really know how to get you and get behind a working belief and, just have you believe in yourself and have you gain confidence so you're able to go out there and enjoy what you do and working on getting better.
And pretty good plus-minus last year. I think it was 15 or 17, something like that. What led to your success on the ice?
Just blind faith, having blind faith in my coaches, my teammates there. Rand Pecknell kind of emphasizes that, if we're struggling a bit individually or as a team, just struggling to get pucks in or getting any momentum, just kind of listening to what they actually have to say and, doing it and just, it may not happen the first time, but after 3 or 4 times, maybe start to, gradually pick up and whatever it is.
What are some areas of your game you like to improve upon, whether during next season or even just in the summer to get ready for next season?
Yeah, no, this season I've been working with Chris Galgano here because he's a local guy from where I'm from, so I've been working on my skating heavily, just being able to be light on my feet, being strong on my feet, just smoothing out my skating, and then I've always been trying to work on my hands, so those are my 2 emphases this summer.
All right, just getting your thoughts overall on the camp, the success it is, and how great this kind of is every summer for these guys to come, meet each other, meet some of the people in the staff, and take away some things.
It's something that we really enjoy. We're not involved at all in the draft, so we watch it from afar and get to see kind of who the new players are coming through. So we're always excited to see the new faces, and at the same time, you see the guys that have been through here a few times. Some guys almost, I think 4 years is our longest so far. So you get a little bit of a connection and touch base with those guys, see how their summer's going. So it's exciting for everybody.
How nice is it, because I mean, for the players to meet some of the guys, but also for the staff to kind of meet some of these guys, may end up in Utica, may end up wherever, but a chance for you kind of meet and greet some of these guys too.
Yep. Yeah, like I said, some of them you might have had a past history with some of the new guys that are drafted, or have acquaintances or teammates that we're familiar with, and then like you said, there's players that played a couple games with us at the end of the year that are going to be now competing in training camp. So it's good to get another touch with these guys and then set them up for training camp, be a little bit of support for them when they come into Jersey.
How excited are you, obviously, next year to kind of have things going, getting named the head coach and taking the reins?
I'm really excited. We had an opportunity to bring on some new staff members as well. So this, as much as it was meeting the new kids, we were meeting our staff for next season and getting familiar with each other, and it's something that we're all looking forward to.
I was just curious, we can go back. What was the turning point for you last season with the Comets? It seemed like there was a point where things got on the right track and you guys ended stronger than you started.
I don't know if there was an exact time. I've said it all along. I thought our team, we had a lot of good pieces, and there's a lot of different issues. We had a lot of injury trouble early on, but we really believed in the group we had, and they're an extremely competitive group as well. So once they started playing as a team and working together, that's when I think we started having a lot more success as a group. And even though we didn't finish near where we wanted to, the last 2 months of the season were every game was competitive, and we felt involved, and we were really happy with the success we had against teams, especially when you look at how well Charlotte did and our record against Charlotte and how we played in those games. So it was good for a lot of our players to see that, even though the season ended, like I said, not the way that we had wanted it to.
And you lost some players, you gained some players now this summer. What are your thoughts on kind of what your roster is shaping up to look like?
Well, it's exciting when you see the guys that had good years for us and might have had slow starts that really turned it around and were playing well, are back. Whether they're with us or in New Jersey, that's something that we don't really like to talk a lot about, because they're at home right now working hard to make the team and make an impact, make an impression in New Jersey. So what we want to do is do the best we can to support them, give them any resource they can in the summer, and then once they're in Jersey, again, support them, help them out as much as they can to make this team. And once the rosters are set, I know with the group of players that we have organizationally, we're going to be happy, and we're going to be a motivated group next year with our team, whoever it may be.
And you lost Nolan Foote. I think he was the third most points on the team. How do you replace what he brought to your lineup?
Well, there's always there's always a second-year player that's moving into his third year, fourth year. So hopefully that there's those guys. Might be a rookie coming in that's going to have a good impression or make that step. But that's all part of it. Whether a guy goes up to Jersey or a guy gets an opportunity on another team, we feel like we were part of that development a little bit. So it is rewarding. The guys that move on, we wish them all the best, and they're players that we'll continue to follow and watch their careers grow as well.
And my last one is Dylan Went was a player that first year pro. He played, I think, like 12 games for you. What were your initial thoughts on him?
Hey, he's a gifted offensive player. I don't think he had as many opportunities that like anyone might not have wanted in their first year, but I think it was a good year for him for learning. He was supposed to be at the camp, but I think he wasn't feeling the greatest, and it wasn't a right idea to make him travel in. So he's one of the guys when I talk about having a good second year, a strong second year. I think he's going to be a really motivated player and somebody that we're looking forward to seeing how he comes into training camp.
What was your impression of the Squires in the short sample size you got in, even maybe a chance or somebody?
I think that there's a group of players that a lot of these guys they're not coming to main camp, or they're not coming to training camp, whether it's they're still going back to junior or their college teams. But there is a handful that are coming in, and those are the players that right now we're looking at that we're excited. We might have the opportunity of working with them, but you can see Shane. He's one of the guys, and Squires. They had opportunities with us at the end of the season, so we have a little bit of a sample of their game, and those are players that we're excited because they're the closest right now for us. So I thought they both had a strong camp, and another player in Malofsky, really strong camp, and those are the guys that are making the step professionally and that we're looking forward to.
Fitzgerald said Malek will probably start at the American League level. What have you learned about him so far?
Well, I think we've had him 3 camps now here. Goaltending is definitely not my specialty, but he's been a guy that in the rookie tournament in Buffalo, he's just a really calm goaltender. So what those, the best goaltenders obviously make those saves when you need them, but they can, how they play and their poise in the net really kind of reflects in the team in front of him, and I think he has a lot of those attributes. So I'm excited. I'm excited to see how he responds in camp here at the NHL and see what happens from there.